So, when I sold my Singer 403, I knew that getting a 411G would give me a whole bunch of advantages. What I didn't realize is that I was going to lose something as well. And what I realized that I'd always taken for granted with the 403 was that pretty much any pattern you can adjust the width and therefore sew it as a double needle pattern. So what you might be able to see at the moment, I have two needles, not a twin needle but double needles, as this machine can do without any problem. Or you can use twin needles as well, but the double needle is just easy. So I've got two size 12 needles in here. But what I've found with this machine is that none of the patterns which are built in can be double needled properly, except for straight stitch. But that's not really what I use the double needle for. So what that meant is you have to have all the extra cams anyway, which is exactly what I had with the Singer 403. I had the complete set of cams. So really what I am now doing is acquiring all the cams to make sure I can do all of the patterns. And the only reason I discovered this is because I wanted to sew a double domino pattern on one of my shirts. And I found out that when I put the domino pattern that was built in, it didn't work, because the needle would touch the edge. So this has arrived today. I've managed to get a replacement, so I'm shortly going to have all of the patterns. But what I thought I'd show you is some of the patterns that they don't tell you can actually double stitch. So this one here, which is the Walls of Troy, yes, it indicates in the book that you can use double needle. So what it says here for the 403s and the 411Gs exactly, the 401, sorry, the double needles are 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, and 21. But actually, I have got more than here. So this gives a very interesting, let me move this in a little closer. This would be kind of fun, because I found that by exploring with all sorts of different other patterns, you can get more than that with the double needle on this machine by just reducing your stitch width to less than 5, so maybe like 4.5, and it works fine. So here is the pattern disc number 1, the arrowhead. So you get sort of a double arrowhead together. This is with the same stitch width setting. This is a blind hem. So you don't, rather than getting a true satin stitch, you get a zigzag effect, which I can zoom in nice and close. You get a really neat zigzag. This is a tight set scallop. This is also a scallop which is set for double needle. This is the block disc 19, which is one that they say you can double stitch, which is neat. But I found another one. This is the ball pattern double stitched, which is fun. But one that intrigued me a lot was a solid scallop, disc 4. So it said you couldn't actually put it on the double needle, but I did it there, and it works really nicely. So it gives it a neat effect with the double. So it gives practically a solid, so the ball stitch. So most of them. So this here is the icicle, I think it's called. Is it the icicle, or is it the, I think that's the icicle disc 7, which says it is a double pattern, so it works really well. And also the disc 5, which is not, according to this, the banner is not, doesn't work. It worked just fine for me. So basically I've been exploring all sorts of these. So what I've put in there is cam number, the domino, so disc number 12, and I thought I'd show you this. Let me just see if this blows out the image. Might be better without. So I'm just going to show you this, and I actually, oops, introduce this. So this one looks like it needs to be, oops, I've got the stitch setting. I must have reset this machine since I last did this last night. So let's just run a couple of tests here. Okay, so set to be, thread's gone all wonky again. It's one thing I've been having trouble with this machine is the thread has been hopping out of one disc and they've ended up in exactly the same disc. So I don't know what's causing that exactly. Never really seen that thing before, but occasionally you just see that the tension gets a little bit strange, and then you see, oh, it's jumped again. But aside from that, it's actually, I cleaned the discs yesterday and it's working very well aside from that. Let's see if that works. So at the moment, set to B in special, it's not giving a very interesting domino. I think I've mucked it up there and I have to rethread it, so I'm going to rethread it in a moment. Something's definitely, I didn't thread it right. One moment. So I think I've resolved that problem. It's sounding a little better. So what I thought would be, oops, threads. Remember to snip your threads or to get stuck around the foot. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to see that this machine on the treadle is pretty good and quick, actually. It's just fine on the treadle. But I think I can get wider, so I'm wondering if maybe this should be set. Yes. Now I can increase this a bit. Let's see what happens. Whoop, that's a little too much, so let's set it to 4. Yes, that works. So slightly over 4 is good and it won't hit the edge. There we are. So you can set it to setting A, special, and just over 4, and then you'll get a really good size domino pattern. So if I reduce this slightly, tighten it up a bit. I want squares rather than rectangles. Maybe just a tidgy bit more. And we'll see if we get perfect squares in the domino. That's looking a little better. I'll show you that in a second. As you see, you can get up good speed with this machine on the treadle. Yeah, now we're getting squares for the domino, which is great. Okay, so let me show you how that looks. So what you can see here is the domino pattern going red, green, red, green. So if I then can interject the other colors over top of that, once you get to an end of a cycle, you can get really, really nice effect. So that works well. So there's another pattern here we might try for fun. Let's just clip these threads. Clip this, gets out of the way. And go to the top. Okay, you have to take this off special apparently to change the cam, so we'll do that. And now we have the faggoting stitch, or the, what's the other thing they call it? Is that the comb? That's the comb. Or is that the shag? That might be the shag. Disc number 14. So that's the comb. Or they have this one, which is disc 15, which is the Thunderbird. So let's see what happens with the Thunderbird. That sounds like a bit of fun. Just put that in, turn this to special. run a little test to make sure that there's no chance of the disc hitting the edge. Very close there. Yeah, that looks good. I've got this extremely densely set. It might warrant a better foot. So I'm just increase that for this pattern a bit. It's getting bunched up there. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. You can see that gives a really neat effect actually. Let's bring it up closer maybe. So there, that's how the Thunderbird looks, which is really neat. So I'm quite pleased with that. Let's compare that to the comb. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to tell much of a difference, but that's kind of the point of trying, because sometimes what isn't obvious when you first put pattern, take it off of special, take that out. This is what I always loved about the, believe it or not, the 301. It was so easy to change. It was easier than fiddling with these. 13, so that's the faggoting. And what's interesting is the built-in faggoting is different than the disc faggoting, so that's fun. So here's the comb. And then you do get two different types of faggoting stitch, built in and not built in. So off we go. So let's make sure this doesn't hit anything. Yeah, that looks like it's perfectly set, which is what I found, just slightly over forward. And with the double needle, you can get oh, I see how it's different. Okay. So the difference between the Thunderbird is the bottom left part is zigzaggy, whereas in the comb it's flat on one side and all zigzaggy there. So you get lots of different patterns. I like the scallop one. I think that's really light and very nice. Just using a scallop. So if you don't want one that's as heavy. And there's the one they tell you about the double needle. Just the straight stitch, which is, yes, okay, but not very interesting, really, for a lot of stuff that I want to do. Okay, where's the... Oh, there it is. So this... So you can see that you can actually use light zigzags and the blind stitch, and that's a tight scallop built in. So you can do all sorts of neat things on there. But I do like the effect of this. I think that's the thing that surprised me most. The blind hem stitch gives a really lighter effect than the others. So there you go. That's the double needle stitching on my delightful 411G. Works the treat. Bye for now. Since I was just running this, I thought I'll show you the faggoting stitch with the double needle as well. It's very nice. So there you go. That looks really nice as well. Bye for now. And yeah, I know that's wiggly, but I did that. That's because I was moving wasn't sewing the straight line intentionally to fit in there. But cool.